The housing fund, another great example, was 12.97% return, targets 10 to 12%. Again, takes a lot of hard work, doing the things you need to do, putting the work and the effort in to improve the properties to create value, right? Value doesn't magically happen. In fact, values went down for most real estate funds last year. We were able to still produce a net positive adjustment.
On the buildings fund, I know it's paying about an 8%. I also am curious about the overall debt. Someone might say, wow, but Rich, isn't it really expensive because debt has increased? What type of leverage is on some of these assets as it pertains to building? In other words, how much is equity going in, percentage of a building versus the debt? And what's maybe the blended interest rate? Anything concerned there? Or have you been able to fix a lot of that right now so we're not subject to big adjustments?
Yeah, so again, a lot there as well. We'll start with the fact that the Building Communities Fund targets a 13% return and it pays 8% preferred. And that's a big important point because all of our preferred returns are ahead of our management fee, which means we put our money where our mouth is. We don't get paid until you get your preferred return. And that's paid 2% per quarter, which is meaning you're going to get liquidity and cash flow throughout the year, and then all of the excess is paid at the end of the year. Last year, it produced a 13.11% return. And again, that was in a difficult, challenging interest rate and just overall housing market, and we still produce great returns. A lot of it stems from the fact that, again, we are focused on really achieving those numbers, right? The housing fund, another great example, was 12.97% return, targets 10 to 12%. Again, takes a lot of hard work, doing the things you need to do, putting the work and the effort in to improve the properties to create value, right? Value doesn't magically happen. In fact, values went down for most real estate funds last year. We were able to still produce a net positive adjustment.
Excellent. Now on the debt piece for the DLP Buildings Fund, how does that look? Any concerns there? I think that feels like out of the clients that are investing with us, that seems to be the number one thing is it's not the operations problem, it's not the occupancy, it's not even the NOI, it's a debt challenge that most people are facing, right? So how is debt affecting the Buildings Fund, if at all?
So again, we've been very successful at obtaining leverage, getting financing for our projects. We have a few different banks that we work with. We typically will put the equity in for the acquisition and development of the property. Sometimes you're able to get some financing for that piece as well. However, most of the times we'll put the cash and the equity up for that and then bring in financing for the vertical construction. We have construction lines, which are very, builder-centric, where as you're building units, you're funding the completion of those, you're getting reimbursed for that. So you're able to take and recycle the cash that you're using and the financing to be able to continue the construction project.
Excellent. So it doesn't sound like it's over-leveraged, over-dependent upon, because a lot of the equity is put up front, and then you're slowly taking those amounts as you're building vertical. And so it's like the plane is sustaining itself. And then ideally, right, 90% occupancy or greater, then you can maybe do a cash out refi and fix the debt for a period of time. That's probably lower interest rate, hopefully, at the point when those things are hitting. Is that a fair summary on that?
That's exactly right. We can and we always do look to recapitalize and refinance ourselves into more permanent debt once the property is stabilized. Mm-hmm. And then with the Building Communities Fund, it's beautiful because we have a lot of optionality. Mm-hmm. We can choose to retain that asset within the fund. We can sell that asset out in the market to a third party. We can sell it to the housing fund as well. So we have a lot of different options for the exit strategy for that asset.
I think that's so smart. Multiple exit strategies, right? Which gives the optionality and it gives it diversifies the risk because there's multiple exit strategies.